There we go. Audio issues for online teaching. Has anybody experienced audio issues with online teaching before?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I have. Definitely. Paul, I'm sure you've experienced audio
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah.
I think almost everyone I know who has taught online has at one time or another experienced some kind of audio issues. And part of the reason is because we are working with different devices and different pianos and the video conferencing software. And getting the audio to play nice, especially we're using MIDI as well because we use Piano Marvel. Getting all those components to play nice is a little bit of a dance. And so we're going to talk about some of the different solutions to those audio issues. Now, I actually met with Valerie Casimir about an audio issue I could not figure out. So sometimes there are audio issues that there is an answer, but sometimes it is just you keep having to look until you can find it. So I just want to start out by saying I am not an expert. I do not claim to be an expert in this area. I am just going to share my experiences, what I've learned, and we will refer to Paul on things that go beyond my scope of understanding. So feel free to ask questions as we go along and as we experience some of this stuff, so we can better understand. Okay, so first of all, audio in your lessons is pretty much, in my opinion, the most critical component for a successful online lesson. If you do not have good audio, I mean, we're talking about music here. So not having good audio is kind of a make or break it for me when I teach online. So this is something I have definitely put a lot of focus and attention into getting right. And it has to be right on the teacher's end and on the student's end. So we have to be able to help our students get set up on their end as well. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the audio on your computer, on your device. And I'm just going to say, for online lessons, I personally have experienced the most trouble with iPads and Chromebooks when it comes to audio. You can use both of them successfully, but if you do have an issue, it often happens with iPads and Chromebooks. Paul, can you kind of explain why that is the case?
Um, I am assuming on your iPad, it's when you're using both Piano Marvel, and that's when I've had issues, both Piano Marvel and Zoom.
Yep,
Um,
Oh,
yep.
yeah, so the problem with an iPad is the if you've heard of multitasking, so they don't want to run more than one thing at once because it tends to slow them down. So their whole objective is to be fast. And so the way that they share audio from two applications that are using audio, so that would be Zoom and Piano Marvel, is not really worked out. And we've had the same struggles too. So we're gonna do our best, but we kind of always recommend people use your iPad for if you're teaching online and you're not using Piano Marvel, we say use it for Fourscore, and then
Some other
use you
use.
could use a second iPad. Actually, you could use two
Yeah, I
iPads.
like
That's
it for
just
the
fine.
side view. The iPad's
Yeah,
really great for the
Yeah,
side view.
yeah,
yeah,
that's our solution to that is log in on two devices.
Yeah,
right. Because it's just the iOS is not made to do two audio sources well at the same time.
yeah.
Right.
Down the road they will probably improve that, but right now it's not. So that's why. And then Chromebooks are all over the board. You can have some that are high performance and some that are not.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yep.
that's I just said what Cami would have said. So there you
Yes.
go.
But you said it so well. And
Thanks for confirming. Thanks for confirming that because it makes us realize
Well,
that
that's what you do in master classes. You say the same thing as the teacher in a different way, and the
yes.
students think you're brilliant. They're like, "Wow, I wish somebody had told me that." Yeah.
yeah, so often what happens with me when a student is using iPad, as soon as I have them connect their MIDI cable and we're sharing screens, I can't hear them or they can't hear me. One of those things happens. And so one person is hearing the other person and the other can't hear them. And so I have found some solutions to them, but they're not perfect solutions. So I kind of encourage teachers to have their students and the teacher use a laptop or a computer if possible, because that's going to provide the best possible audio experience, likely. So yes, there are workarounds for these other devices, but if you have the option, I say go with a computer or a laptop on both sides, on the learner and the teacher side. Except what we were saying, using it as a secondary device, great. You can have a side view, an overhead view with that second device, and it's great for that. Okay, so on your computer, on your device, let me see if I can share my screen here. You should become familiar with how to get to the audio settings, because a lot of times what happens is the person's audio settings are not correct on their actual device, not on Zoom, but on their device. So if you go to your settings, it's going to be different on Mac than on Windows. And are you on Windows, Paul?
At this moment,
At this moment?
no, I'm on Mac, but I do have a Windows computer if you guys want me to join there for demos. So
Okay, I'll show on Mac how to get the audio. So you just go to the little
oh, yeah, I can
Yeah.
join on my Windows to show people on Windows.
Yeah.
You show a Mac, I'll get on the well, on my Windows.
Okay. So let me see if I can remember while I do this. I do it sometimes. So you go to the Apple, and then you go to System Settings, and it's going to pull up a little window here. And you're going to go to, okay, I always do this wrong. Is it in general, or is it on this side here?
There's one that said sound.
On the side?
Yeah, on the red, it's red.
Sound.
Jump-
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you go to sound, and now here you have output and input. So input is the microphone. That is how we are hearing one another, is through the microphone. So it's saying I have a microphone on my computer, iMac microphone. I have a webcam microphone, and I have a microphone through my audio interface, which most teachers don't have an audio interface. They may have a webcam, but it's saying I have 3 different outputs here, inputs here. And you just want to see which one is selected. So currently my Scarlett is, nope, hello. Okay, if you talk, you can see that moving, showing that this microphone is working. If I were to
So
go,
isn't that the same selection that you get when you go to the Zoom audio input?
Zoom audio is actually separate from the computer audio. And that's why I'm bringing this up, because
Wow.
you may have all the right settings in Zoom. And what I have seen several times is that a student has their audio is coming, like their speakers is coming through their headphones, but they don't have their headphones on. And so they're like, how come I can't hear? So checking your input and your output to make sure that they are what you want them to be. So I want my input to be my iMac microphone, and I want my output to be my iMac speakers. And you can, let's see, but this is not the screen I usually see where it shows what you have selected. What am I looking at here, Paul?
Let me make it a little bigger. Stretch this out a bit.
This is the input here, and you choose which one you want. I want this one. This
Yeah.
is the output. Choose
Right.
which one I want. Okay,
Right.
I thought it was in a different place, but maybe not.
I think that Mac has updated it recently.
Oh, okay. And that's,
It
you
looks a
know,
tiny bit better.
they keep us hopping. They keep moving stuff. So
Yeah,
for
this looks right.
So this is really important, because you may have a student that and yours may not be, like I've had people using their webcam microphone. The microphone is really poor quality, and you need to have them use the higher quality microphone. So just check that speaker and microphone and see what they have selected or what you have selected to make sure you have the best possible options on your device. Any questions about the Mac audio settings before we move to Windows? No. Okay.
I would want to bring up one thing about that, Cami.
Yeah.
And I haven't used Zoom enough to be like, this always happens, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the calling app doesn't, once you change the Mac settings, the Zoom settings will stop working. So the order is first to go to Mac settings, then
Yeah.
to change the Zoom settings.
That's right.
That makes sense.
Sometimes you'll change Mac settings and then it'll go mute because they didn't get the message. So
Yes,
you want
that's a
to-
good
yeah.
point. Yes, thank you for sharing that. I'm
So if
gonna
it goes mute, now go change your Zoom settings. So that's, yeah. And you all know how to do Zoom settings, so you're good there.
Well, we'll go over Zoom settings, but like the one more thing is up here in the top part of your computer, it's super tiny. There's a little speakerphone. If you click on that, it's going to show your volume. Looks like my volume is like really high. It's going to show what output you have here, and it will take you to sound settings, so you don't have to go through the apples. You can just click sound settings, and here we go. I was like, where is it? And it will bring you to the same place we were. So if you have it up in your dock, now you may not have it up there because you might need to put it up there, but if it is up there, you have all of these settings here. And one more thing is this little purple guy. Sometimes there's issues with, so here it's showing me my settings for Camtasia, which I'm recording with. But if I were to go to Zoom, it's going to say mic mode is standard. Sometimes this voice isolation has been turned on. That can cause issues for online lessons. So just make sure it's not on voice isolation in mic mode under this. What is this thing called? It just shows whatever you're using right now. It gives some information about it.
Yeah, I know what it's called either. No, whatever we want.
But yeah, that's something that I have run into multiple times, is this mic mode having voice isolation on and causing issues.
Wow.
So hopefully new information, helpful information on the Mac. So, okay. Paul, are you set up for the Windows, or do you want me to go over a few other things?
Give me a second to join.
Okay. And welcome,
yes.
Kelly, by the way. Kelly joined us a few minutes ago, so.
I didn't realize I didn't have Zoom installed, so it'll be here just.
Oh, it'll be a couple seconds. Okay. Now, once you have set up your your computer audio settings and make sure they're right and your students are right, they just need to have those settings each time they come back. Because sometimes a child will get on my computer, change my audio settings, and then I'm like, why is this not working? I don't understand. And I just have to check them and see something has been changed in the audio settings. Now, in your Zoom audio settings, all of your audio settings for Zoom are going to be down in this little microphone. If you click on the little caret next to it in the lower left of your computer, it's going to bring up, can you see this menu? Is that showing on my share screen?
Yes.
Okay. So it will say select a microphone and select a speaker. So now that you've done it on your computer, now you need to do it in Zoom. So I've selected my iMac microphone and I've selected my Scarlett speaker, which is because I want to hear it through my headphones, and that's how I do it, is through my Scarlett. So you'll notice that's different than the speaker that I chose for my audio. If it causes problems, you want to make sure they're the same. And you can test your speaker and your microphone, make sure they're working correctly. And we'll go into audio settings in a minute, but first you just need to make sure you've selected the proper microphone and speaker for using Zoom. All right. Oh, I guess he's still working on it. We will go into audio settings. So if you go into the audio settings, this is that same menu. If you go into the audio settings, can you see this white box that says settings here? Is that showing up? Okay. Um, in your audio settings, there's a couple important things. You can see on the left, it says audio. You can test your speaker here. You can test your microphone and just make sure they're working correctly and the volume and all of that. The main thing is on audio profile, you want to choose original sound for musicians. This is really important on Zoom. If you do not have this selected, you very likely will have a poor experience with audio. And you also want to check this box echo cancellation, because if you don't and somebody is not wearing headphones, there will be feedback issues very likely. So check that one. The high fidelity music mode, you can check it if your computer is kind of a more powerful computer. If your computer's not as powerful, it can cause a little hesitation, and it just takes more resources from your computer. So I have it checked because I have a more powerful computer. The other thing I've noticed is sometimes this causes an issue here and sometimes it doesn't. The one that says automatically adjust microphone volume, I leave it unchecked because it can cause issues, but for a lot of people, it does not cause issues. So that is up to you. Those are the settings that are really important. And now when you're in a Zoom call, you will see up in the corner, original sound for musicians off. It will be up here. And you will need to have everyone, every time you have a lesson, click on that. And now it says original sound for musicians on. Nobody knows where to click because this does not look like a button. It just looks like words. But that is where you click, is right. Oh, Michelle joined us. Yay. Is right on the words themselves. Anybody have questions about the Zoom settings for audio? Is all of this making sense? Am I going like a little too complicated, or is it making sense?
Makes sense.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Good. Okay.
I can show the what the audio settings in Windows looks like now.
Perfect. Yes, if you could show us, that would be great. And welcome, Michelle. Yay, she was able to make it.
Let's see. I'm trying to make sure I'm.
Yeah, I'm driving home right now, so I can't really be there, but I'm listening.
Well, Hannah's in the car too, so we have some
Okay,
mobile
cool.
listeners today. And actually, I haven't heard from Kelly, so I don't know if she's in a car as well. She might be.
Um, Interesting too. I'm gonna check one thing. Let's see.
Now, just one thing,
Um,
when you do original sound for musicians, if you have background noise, you have a fan on, you have some kind of like anything that's making noise, that is going to cause a negative listening experience for everyone else. Sometimes there's not a lot you can do about that because like sometimes it's an air conditioner. It's like you can't turn your air conditioner off or you don't want to. So that is one like thing that is not so great about the original sound is it does pick up all the ambient noises and sometimes amplifies them. So if you get like this really loud sound when somebody comes on with original sound, that's because they have some kind of background noise that is being picked up.
Okay, I've got it figured out. The quickest way to, or the nicest way to get there. Um,
Okay. Can you share your screen while you're showing?
yes, that's what I was just gonna ask, is if I can share screen.
You should be able to.
Share. Okay, I'm gonna do the entire screen. Um, Alrighty. So basically Zoom will look the same, but you do want to check your Windows sound settings first. So I'll just go in. Oh, I see. Zoom is kind of minimizing it for me. Can you guys see? Oh, my computer's deciding to freeze right now. I'm gonna make this not auto hide first of all. So, oh goodness. This is how fun Windows is, by the way. This is why we don't use Windows.
I think
So,
I know more people who use Windows than Mac currently when I'm working with them. So
Yes.
it is good
Yes.
to go over Windows for sure.
okay,
Yeah.
so I'm just gonna make it not this. Okay, well, I'm gonna close settings. I'm gonna try to start like open just like you guys would. So you guys are here in Zoom, you're like having trouble with sound. I have my taskbar auto hide and I forgot how to disable that. But anyway, so the taskbar, y'all know what that is, where all the buttons are. There's two ways to get to sound settings. I'm more of a typey person, so down on the bottom you always have the search bar. I think the quickest thing to do is to type sound.
Oh, okay.
And then, but it does give you a lot of options. So, like when you type sound set, it'll bring up sound settings. Okay. And then if you're not a typey person, you also can use the start menu, which has moved down here. I'm going to wiggle my mouse so you can see it and slow me down at any time if I'm going too fast. Just say, hey, Paul. So you go to start menu, and then in here, you go to settings. Okay. Start menu, settings, and then you have to go to system. So don't get sound from somewhere else. You can get to sound from accessibility, but that's not the kind of sound you want. You want system and then sound. So you go start menu, settings, system, and sound. It's the four S's. There we go.
Yeah, you're
Do the
right.
four S's. Just think of us.
Or you could just search for
Okay, you can
sound
tell I
settings.
teach kids because I'm like, gonna hiss. So start menu settings, system sound. So anyway, or you can just type sound settings in the search bar, which is my recommendation, but either one you want. So then you go in and it's really obvious at this point. Choose where to play sound. And I've got nothing right here. Sorry about that. But if I were to plug in something, there would be new output devices, right? Here, we'll move this down. Oh, no,
So you just have one option right now. So it just selects that option because it's the
But
only
see,
option.
I can add like a Bluetooth device if you wanted to hook up a Bluetooth speaker. There might even be some in the room. But see, it has a little addition. You know, and then input, again, you can see just like with Mac what um device it's using for your input. So right now and also in Windows you'll have more strange names than even on Macs. So it calls this the microphone array. It's just the system mic. And you can always
Getting
tell
fancy.
because in there it says Intel Smart Sound. If they're using Intel Smart Sound, that's just built-in mic. And then of course it's like there's some settings you probably don't want to mess with. These are all things in here, but see this right here. If I were doing an online lesson, I would turn off voice focus because this is built
Yeah.
in. So you see how I got there? I went system, sound, and properties. The trouble here is that every Windows machine may look a little different, although I'm using a Lenovo, so they're using a pretty normal branch of Windows. So most of you users, it'll look like this, okay? So you see down here, it says voice focus, which is great for everything except us. So you want to turn that off. Now we'll get more background noise, but you'll notice if you're teaching with that on that the piano will not sound as good on the student's end. So, that's the input settings I would change. Going back to sound, you don't really need to change output much. There's really not much to change. They have some bit rate stuff, but you don't.
You've got the output and the input on the sound page, or are they on different pages?
No, they're so. If you look at the top, Windows
there it
almost
is.
always, not always, but usually gives you a menu up top that shows where you are in the logic tree of, how far you're in. So we know we're in system, we know we're in sound, and so under this heading we've got output. Under this heading down
There we
here
go.
we've got input,
Okay.
and then Windows always has a little arrow that lets you expand. So under the device that you're using, you can customize the settings, and that's where you get to the
Okay, so that was under the microphone, not the speaker, to get the
right.
voice
So
focus. Okay.
you want to go to the subdivision of input, and input from the computer's perspective is microphone, right? So input, you go look at the microphone that it's currently using, make sure that it doesn't have something like voice focus on.
Okay.
And I haven't messed with this either, but you might want to turn off those device enhancements. The way to test this is to connect another thing to the call. Like what I would do is join Zoom from your Android or iPhone with Bluetooth speaker or with a Bluetooth headphone, and then mute the output of your Windows machine. And then you'll be able to hear what students are hearing. So you like connect your phone to the call, and then you can be like, okay, how is this sounding? And this way you avoid all the problems with your students, right? So this is how I test my app. So I'll go on and connect it on various devices and then see if voice focus even matters. So play the piano a little bit. And if through your headphones you're hearing fuzziness, turn that off, see how it sounds. And so you can in real time check it. Are you guys clear on how that might work? It's a little hard to show on a call, but
I was going to say, if I'm understanding correctly, one thing with joining on several devices is you get all kinds of feedback because you have to mute and turn down the sound on Zoom on every single device, and it can create issues with feedback.
well, so the two things I would do about that is make sure it's just you in the call. I wouldn't do this with your students.
Oh, okay. You're not doing, okay. You're
I'm
just
saying, so
testing
this is a test you do
before
at
a
home
lesson.
before you call your students, and it will save you a lot of headaches. So you join just with one phone, and then you use the headphone so that it can't feed back. So use an earbud or a headphone.
Oh, so join on
And
your phone, but
then-
you've got like your headphones
and-
attached to the phone.
And one more thing you will have to do is mute the output volume of your main computer that you're going to use, like your Windows machine. So on this one, it would look like this. You just go down to sound, this down in the system tray, you go to sound, and you drag that all the way down. And mute will be like not hearing anything, turn up volume. You don't click yes, you leave that mute, right? So now we're mute, and all your goal is to hear what's coming from your Windows mic. And there'll be a little delay. It'll be like, half a second or something, but it's very valuable. You can see what your sound settings are before your students are like, I can't hear you. So that's what I recommend. And this also works on Macs too. Macs tend to have much more music friendly microphone settings by default though. They actually have a voice focus that will turn on automatically. It can detect the difference between music and background noise and voice. So it can tell if someone's playing piano, it'll be like, oh, okay, we're not going to block out piano. Microsoft don't bother with that. They just kill all except voice, right? So yeah,
Okay.
I highly suggest testing that. And if anybody you want to learn how to do that, I can show you or make
Yeah,
a video or something.
I was gonna say,
guess
could
I
you
could.
help people if they want to try that? Because I'll try it. It sounds like I think I understand how to do it, but if you guys want to try
I'm
it,
willing
you
to
can.
show people how.
Okay.
It's the kind of thing I would have to take an external video of because doing
Right.
it on a call, it's like Rick and Morty. You have like a simulation within a simulation, and it's just too hard.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you. That's pretty much it on the Windows, right?
Yeah, that's it. So and then after that, Zoom itself looks pretty much the same between Windows and Mac. So.
Okay, so the short end of the short of it all is you have your computer settings and you have Zoom settings, and you want to make sure both of those are set up correctly, both for you and for the student. Once they're set up correctly, if they don't change, lessons are pretty seamless, pretty smooth, pretty easy with your audio. If somebody changes those settings, of course, they'll need to be changed back. But part of the reason I invited Paul is because the best audio experience I have ever had with online lessons by far is by using something other than Zoom. And so I know several of you have requested that we try this. And so we're going to attempt it today. Paul is the creator of this other thing, so he knows how to problem solve, how to get everybody set up. So we're going to give it a shot. So this is one-on-one piano, and I have had the best audio experience with my online lessons using this tool. And you would use this tool instead of Zoom. So it's in place of Zoom. The difference with the audio for one-on-one piano is it will come through my piano. So I will give an example. I'm going to have Anne play something on her piano, and you're going to hear how clear it's coming through my piano. So whatever you want to play, Anne. See here. There we go. Yeah. It is as if Anne is in the room with me. I can hear all of her articulations. I can hear staccato. I can hear legato. Paul, can you play something with pedaling? Do you have a pedal? Oh, you don't right there, do you?
I didn't bring my pedal with me, but I can play this.
Okay. Anne, do you have a pedal?
No, I don't keep one up here.
Okay, well, I can't really demonstrate how you'll hear the pedal because it's going to play through Anne and Paul's. But if I were to play something with pedaling, they can hear everything.
Here, I can do it with recording here.
And all the dynamics, all the louds and softs. Can you play something with some various dynamics, Anne? Very soft, very loud, and in between. Just kind of change the dynamics a little bit. It's just so good. It is literally as if you're in the same room with the person. So once I experienced this, I just can't bring myself to go back to any other type of audio with teaching online because it's just so good. So let's show using Piano Marvel. In fact, Anne, maybe let's have you share your screen and go in Piano Marvel and play something from Piano Marvel, and that way they'll be able to hear how it sounds and what I'm seeing when you do that. Okay.
One, set, go.
And you can see all the red and green notes. Can you do it in practice mode so we can see?
Yeah.
Oh, with your overhead, so we can see your hands. It's just right as I see it on the screen, I'm hearing it through my piano. It's synced up exactly, and I'm seeing the notes turn green as you play them. Like it's all perfect. So in Zoom,
Wait, you're seeing that on my screen or on your screen? Where are you seeing that?
I'm seeing on my screen and hearing you through my piano at exactly the same time. And if I were to see the overhead where you're playing on your keyboard, usually the visual of the notes being played is also synced up. And so it's just a really nice experience for the teacher to see all of that. Oh, another thing that we were playing around with is you can do call and response because you can hear through your piano. So we were doing For Elise. Maybe we could do a different song. Let's
Because everybody hates For Elise. So.
we could do what would be a good call and response? Anne might have some ideas here. Or you can pull up Piano Marvel and people take turns playing what they're reading together. But so if I were doing, and I turn it over to Paul. Now Anne has joined in. So it can be kind of fun to do some interchange because it's all coming through your piano. You can have some fun things with that.
One particular kid that we would have a blast. We'd probably do
Yes.
nothing else. But
You lose track of time. It's really fun. Now, group play, this is the other thing we're going to do. Everybody has to go to their settings and uncheck the Bluetooth box in their one-on-one settings. So go to settings, go where it says pair Bluetooth, and take the check out of the check box.
wait, I don't have a check on Bluetooth. Bluetooth is marked in red. The check mark.
Yeah, it's off to the right.
Yeah.
So do I remove the check from the portable G1?
Yeah,
Yep.
Okay. The MIDI. In other words, remove the MIDI check.
that's right.
Why am I doing that?
So if you're doing group play and you can hear everybody playing through your piano, they may not sync up, and it can create a little of a chaotic experience when you're doing group play.
Once, everybody all at once.
Yeah, we're going to be playing everybody at once. So we take the MIDI off, and I'll show you what that's like. So I will start a group play session. Here's your code, 979A. So go ahead and join that session. I'm actually going to take this session and move it. Yeah, make my own window here so I can have it side by side. Okay, we're going to do group play. And the really nice thing about doing it with one-on-one instead of Zoom is you don't have to mute anybody. You can have one-on-one, you can have group play without muting before, without muting after. So we're not going to do Prince Caleb because that one nailed me. So we're going to do a different one.
Can I join?
Please. Yeah. Did you get the code?
979A. 979A.
Yes.
9 Alpha. Okay.
And let me see. Yeah, I'm going to, just for fun, we're going to go in the soundtracks challenge because why not? And, okay. We'll do Hedwig's theme.
Yes. That's a good one. Always. Anna Marvel. And group play. And then. Oh, I need that code again. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. 979A.
979A.
Okay. Join.
Okay, and it's telling me I have 2 of 3 ready, 3 of 3. All right, here we go. So nice. Don't have to mute. Oh, I got 13. What happened? Oh, was I on the wrong octave?
No.
Octave because I couldn't reach far enough.
Oh, it says play both hands 8VA. Did anybody else catch that?
No.
Okay, one more time. Here we go.
No, the only reason I got it is because I couldn't reach down far enough from where I'm sitting because the piano and the computer and the keyboard are too far apart.
Well, it worked to your advantage.
This one right. This is horrible.
All right, 1 octave higher. Here we go.
Yeah.
Set. Go.
Okay, better score this time. There we go.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, 13.
Awesome.
That's not great. So this is really nice because I use group play a lot in my group lessons. And having to unmute and mute everybody over and over every time you do group play, it's just a little bit of a hassle.
But you have to have each person go to that MIDI connection and turn that MIDI off.
Yes, before you start using group play, but you would have everybody undo that MIDI connection. I'll tell you, for a lot of the lesson, I do have them undo the MIDI connection because I don't want to hear them playing while I'm teaching, for example. And I just haven't put on the MIDI connection if we're doing an activity where I need to hear them play, for example. So I do, just like sharing screen in Zoom, I do get my students to get used to turning that on and off easily because they will be doing that for depending on what we're doing.
If you want to hear them play, do you have to turn yours on? Do they have to turn theirs on too?
You can still hear them. Like if I play, let's see.
Well, play with the filter off. We can hear you.
Oh, right. Oh, that's right. There is the filter. Okay, so let me turn that
I'm
off.
actually gonna make it so that it turns off as soon as you click it, and then I'm actually gonna.
So it would be
have I
automated.
think I would either call it group play or voice only mode. So that's how you get to filter high.
Okay, so I'm going to
These
play
are
without the MIDI, and you can hear it's actually still better than Zoom, even without the MIDI.
Yeah.
that?
Put your MIDI on now and play the same thing over again.
Okay.
I need it
Now you're gonna have to have your MIDI on too, right? Or does she, Paul?
What?
Does she have to have her MIDI on too for me to play through hers?
Yeah, I think she. Oh yeah, don't forget to turn on your MIDI.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. What would happen if she just turned on hers? And I forgot where to turn it on. Let's see.
Settings, MIDI, G1000. Yeah.
Settings. Okay, there.
Okay, so with MIDI, is it coming through your piano? What's that?
Yes.
So yeah, that's the difference between with MIDI and without. Now I'm going to have Paul, I'm going to have you do, go ahead and uncheck the MIDI. Paul, I'm going to have you play without MIDI so my recording can catch the sound of not using MIDI. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Okay,
So it's
sound
on right now. Do you want it on or off?
Off.
Oh, I
Yeah, so this is our filter off acoustic sound.
Yeah, so
let's
still
see.
really good
I
sound.
gotta actually play that right in. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. So the through the piano is the best possible aural experience of hearing your student, hearing the teacher. But even without, it's still better than Zoom, even without using the MIDI. So this has definitely become my go-to tool for better audio in online lessons. It's just, I just haven't found anything that is quite as good at the audio part of it. So. I think that's generally. Is there anything else we should try with the audio experience?
That's about it.
I think that's the
Yeah,
main
'cause those are the
things.
three things: acoustic, group play, and then just a MIDI connection with Piano Marvel running. I'm starting to use that a lot too. Having students who, I'll coach them through. That was always the problem, coaching them through Piano Marvel songs so that they do the right things, instead of learn bad habits. And I use it for that now. So.
Yeah, I just love that you can hear all of the nuances, all of the dynamics, all of the articulations, all of the pedaling, and you can see it at the same time, so it's not delayed. Now, it can be, but usually mine is right in sync when I'm watching it. So
Yeah, there's always different complexions, but the app itself can do it. that's the answer.
okay, so I'll go ahead and stop the recording now because we got that part, and then